Hey, everybody. Sorry for the delay. We were having technical difficulties. The gremlins got us before the stream even started. But we have vanquished them for the time being. um, Welcome into another Saga's actual playtest. This time we are continuing from something that happened over on This Crit's YouTube channel. He is not here with us today. He had another thing, so I'm going to be hosting this episode, and then we'll be back over there for the rest of them. You'll notice that I'm not in this frame right now. I'm in this frame because I'm not running this game. I ran the last one, and we ended, well, you know what? I'll let Claude here do the recap once we get introductions out of the way. You all know who I am. I am Dennis. I run the YouTube channel you're on, OKSDM, where I make mistakes running games so you don't have to. Today we are going through the playtest of Sagas. We've been playtesting this on the channel constantly, so that if you're watching this, you're probably not new to the system. But thank you for coming anyway. If you don't know what Sagas is, you can go into the links in the description. We've got a Discord channel. We've got a free download copy for the playtest on DriveThruRPG. We've got a newsletter where you can get free weekly wallpapers. Got a whole bunch of stuff for you to check out, all related to Sagas. But it's not all about me tonight. It's also about these other fine folks. How about you, Vampire? Tell us about yourself.
I am Vampire Bites. You can find me playing this on Wednesdays until we're done. On alternating Mondays, you can find me over on Cybernation Uncensored playing in a The Last of Us themed Fallout 2D20 game. And every Friday, also on Cybernation Uncensored in a Cyberpunk High Riders campaign. Other than that, you can find me hanging out in various Twitch chats and over in the Discords.
Thank you for being here. What about you, Tipsy?
Hi, my name is Tipsy, or you can call me Jocelyn. You can find me doing generally nerdy cosplay stuff at the Tipsy Tiger on both Twitch and TikTok. I currently am on a campaign with Magic Academy that goes every Tuesday on Twitch, and I also am of course, a GM in this group of GMs, and I run my own homebrew. So you can often find me walking around and being a big old fairy tale nerd in the world of Romithra. Pronouns are she, they.
Thank you. And what about you, Claude, our game master for tonight?
Hello. I am Claude, also known as Curly Insane Guy with an underscore on Instagram and Threads. You can find me here, or not here, but at this crits for the next couple of weeks. And today I'm in the GM chair. So this will be fun. New system for me to run, but I had a great time playing it. Excited.
Thank you for running this one, and I'm very excited to sit in the player's seat on this. I think this is my first time playing and not running a Sagas stream. So
That's so
Wow.
exciting.
at least
Wow,
on
well,
at least
zero
live.
pressure on me then.
Don't miss it. Don't
You
miss
better
it, guys.
Make it good.
It's my first time playing. Don't fuck it up.
You make me hate my game.
Oh my god, can you imagine? You play in your game, you're just like, oh no, I need to change this.
Oh god, everything's
horrible
terrible.
mistake.
What have I done?
What do you mean I
What I'm
have to
hearing.
roll a d12?
What is a 12-sided die? What does it even look like?
Never played. Oh dear.
All right. So, I am not running this, and I'm going to hand it over to you, Claude. Get us started.
Okay. I'll give a little recap and then we'll hop into where each character is right at the moment. So, as a quick summary of last time, our adventure began in the Dusty Mirror, which was a dusty little saloon in a dusty little place known as Virton, on a Wild West-ish sort of world of magic, gunslinging, and a lot of dust. Their four acquaintances, some that were new to Veertown, were approached by a one-armed snake man sheriff, and they were asked to look into the strange lights and rumbles from the alchemist's home. After a bit of mostly successfully sneaking, Kai and Betsy were invited inside by Sibon the alchemist, who hinted at otherworldly origins for himself and his family, who are now lost. Meanwhile, Desrin and Aaron were poking about the alchemist's home, finding an impossibly large room and a mysterious high-tech device. Aaron then started the device, much to the terror of everyone, but especially the alchemist. And the chaos that followed was intense. There was a dropped marble that contained a tree in it, and when it broke, a tree burst forth, beginning to grow and threatening to crush them all. And then some zombies showed up, so it was pretty eventful. Deslin was overcome by a horde of zombies, as they tried to get the device working again. And Betsy pulled him free just before Aaron threw a marble to the ground in a last-ditch effort. Everything went black and silent. Is where we will pick up. Betsy and Kai, you are individually alone, seemingly, in an endless corridor of black. You're unaware of your own bodies, a disorienting sensation. You see a tiny pinprick of light in the distance, growing larger and larger, as if approaching you at absurd speeds. And then everything is white. So for fun, I'm going to have all of you roll to see who I'm going to start off with. So lowest roll wins. Get a roll out of the way now.
A
What die
reaction
are we
check?
using?
Let's go with we'll make it a reaction check. Some of you have differing die for that.
I roll a d8. Thank you.
Does does this white light count as sunlight?
It does not.
I was just
Good.
like, oh no,
I'm
oh
not
no.
dead yet. My reaction got a 2.
I also
Three.
got a 2.
Well, what the heck? I was so proud of my 3.
With the smaller die as well, and that happened.
How dare you both?
Okay, so how do you? I will roll to decide who wins this tie. We'll go high for Kai because that makes sense. Low for Ralph. Kai. Black, then the white, and then suddenly you find yourself sprawled on your back on the dirt in the dark. Inches from your chest, you see one of the branches from the tree that was threatening to destroy the alchemist's house, and it is mere inches away from your chest, which is pretty notable considering who you are. Could you remind everyone about Kai and what they are like?
Yeah, Kai is a quote unquote good guy vampire. Nightwalker, Kai Nightwalker, vampire with a moral compass, raised in the Nightwalker Outlaws, a notorious bandit and assassin group. After a job gone wrong, resulting in innocent deaths, Kai left the Outlaws. He now seeks justice for the innocent and a new path for himself, all while grappling with their lingering loyalties to the Outlaws.
Certainly got the new path.
Yeah, this is definitely a new path, but instinct says roll away from this branch.
Call. Not going to require a roll from that. It's not particularly precarious at this moment. It seems like the branch is caught on like a bit of cross beam of some metal. But you can see overhead very visible stars. There's low light pollution here and a very thin atmosphere that seems to magnify their brilliance. But they're not the sun. Very fortunate for you. Go ahead and sorry, I'm got a lot of tabs open. I'm trying to see what the exact role to call for is. not called perception.
No, it's just there's no specific roles. You just ask for a check, and
Okay.
we'll see if anything
You
applies.
have anything that applies. That's right. Okay, thank you.
Very easy.
Yeah, so I was about to say it's super simple. I keep trying to complicate
Just make
it
a
in my
check and we'll figure out what it is.
Yes.
If you are saying things, we unfortunately cannot hear you.
think you're muted.
That would be due to the mute gods.
All praise.
That's a very
They've been
unfortunate-
appeased.
I
All
don't-
hail the mute gods.
Kai is too shocked by their new surroundings to be aware of anything. Kai has night vision, so I get to roll a d8 for see in the dark. But unfortunately, that d8 turned up with an 8. So all but the most obvious are invisible to me right now.
you know instantly that you're next to these large metal structures. They're super shiny. It's reflecting a bunch of light. There is a lot of unnatural light here. So I suppose in this moment you're a bit dazzled by the sudden change of scenery.
Oh God, is it sunlight?
There's that little bit of fear if you'd like that. What if this is the sun? And we will go to the next as you kind of orient yourself for a moment. There is someone we have yet to meet in this adventure yet. Who is Ralph?
Ralph, are you looking for just a physical description or an actual biography?
Let's go with the biography if it's fairly short. Not full book
Yeah.
length, but yeah. A little rundown.
Ralph has been a mechanic in the shipyard for pretty much his whole life. Growing up, he was always attuned to fixing broken things, replacing parts. And as he grew older and larger, the things he fixed also grew larger. And now he is one of the foremost engineers in this shipyard. If something breaks, Ralph is the first person there.
And he has been indispensable in this place. Where you work is, as you call it, the shipyard. This area of the moon that you live on gets a lot of crashed ships. And here in the shipyards, you either repair the ships, be sold off again, or you take what you can get out of it, build new things with. And you also have a little bit of leeway of like, if you want to build something for yourself, they trust you with that. You've been with them for so long. They're like, yeah, just don't, take anything that the company will really miss. But they're very free with letting you. What would Ralph be doing, and has he had any fun projects he's been building recently?
Yes, he's actually working on a little like hover bike for his nephew. His nephew's birthday is coming up, and he wants to get him something really nice that his younger sister will not appreciate as the nephew's mother.
That is the goal.
The equivalent to buying your niece or nephew a drum set to terrorize their parents with. That's
Yes.
feel that.
Don't buy them the noise toy. I will buy them the noise toy.
So you would know that today there's not many people out and about. The shifts here are very long. They're often working alone. There are designated safe spaces that you can go and like wall up and like close doors and stuff to protect yourself, because there are creatures that occasionally dig through these shipyards. So when there's just one person on duty or doing the scrap work, you have to kind of be on your guard for that sort of stuff. And as well, what is he up to? Is rummaging around at the moment?
He's probably actually at the bike itself, which is sort of tucked away in one of his corners of the junk portion of this yard. He is bent over it. The bike is smaller than he is, being a very large man. Can't really get a good look at his face because he has a welding shield down and is currently using a weird sort of high-tech welding torch. It doesn't have the same, giant tanks that are attached to today's welder. It is its own little handheld. It's almost like a long grill lighter, and he's just with the slag coming off of it and sizzling onto the ground.
And Ralph was fortunate to find, one little last thing that he thinks might have been needed to finish off this bike. Maybe a couple more passes at it, but just adding one portion on right now, and I will have you roll a check for that.
Just check as a player stream.
Don't ruin your nephew's.
Oh no,
present.
wrong die.
Oh my God.
I already screwed it up.
Too much
Do
pressure.
you
Wrote
have
this
any
game.
applicable talents?
Absolutely. I have Arcanist, which allows me to fix magic equipment, Mechanic, which
Ooh.
allows me to fix vehicles, and Handy, which allows me to fix non-magical equipment. So, at least
your
2
bases
of those
covered.
apply. D8.
Definitely.
Aha, a 2.
A 2. Well, there you go. Just like that, you're able to get it in place the way you want. And this thing is pretty close to done. It's mostly just like aesthetics at this point.
He
You're
flips up his face shield and takes out a handkerchief and wipes his forehead, and you can see his hands, forearms, and face are all caked in grime, like black grease. He's mostly bald and has a thin but large white beard, and he has a very kind face with lots of smile lines.
all right. And with that little glimpse, we go, Betsy. Betsy, you feel yourself falling.
Wait.
Kind of tumbling over and over again. You see the ground, and then suddenly, nope, you're not looking at the ground anymore. You're looking way up, and you get the sensation that you're up high. But you've been up high before. Remind us a little about Betsy.
Betsy Dupree, a about 6 foot tall, half fae woman, with this strawberry blonde curly hair, that cascades down her back and piercing blue eyes. She is currently wearing an outfit that is far too out of place for this. She is a resident of Virden, so very saloon girl meets high fantasy, in purples and pinks, and almost eclipsed by her wings completely full out, which does not often happen. She usually keeps her large gossamer dragonfly wings folded to her back, but because she is currently falling, she is trying to catch the breeze as much as she can, and for one of the first times, she tries to be very graceful with her words and her movement, but if anyone could hear her right now, she would just go in shit, 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 shit.
After a slight adjustment and orienting yourself, your wings catch the way that you would like. You can instantly tell that the air's a bit thin here, even though you're pretty close to the ground, which is different than Virton. But from your view, where you are, roll a check to look around.
Okay. I don't really have anything to help me with this. So I'm going to go ahead and roll a d10.
And perfect.
That is a 7.
A 7.
Not great. Not amazing.
What one person will roll well today? and
Feeling lightheaded from all this air. Well, Dennis rolled well.
That's the one.
Dennis rolled a 2. So
I've
Your
written
main
the system.
concern-
I've rigged the dice.
clearly, this is what it's. I'm sorry. The creator of the game is rolling well. Interesting.
Pretty suspicious. Yeah, I don't know about that. There's a lot going on, and your main concern right now is getting to the ground safely. So taking a good clear view is not a priority at the moment.
Yeah, especially I think with the thin air in between unladylike cursing, there's just like, okay, what the hell? And just trying to lower myself to the ground without fainting.
And just before you get to the ground, you would notice that you are in what looks like a yard of like crashed vehicles of some sort. It's like you would think of as a ship dashed against some rocks on an unsafe beach, but it's these huge gray and rusty orange like chunks of metal. And you also see some glass like screens and stuff, but it's all very strange to you.
Yeah, this is completely new to me. As I start walking around, lamenting that I'm now getting, weird dust all over my very nice clothing. I had a gig coming up. That's not going to happen. Not in the world anymore. And I'm just going to go, well, got to do what a girl's got to do. Hello? Is anyone here?
It's a fairly quiet environment, except for every once in a while you hear like a loud hum that grows a little louder and then gets quieter. There are these huge spires with lights on them, and they kind of like dim a little and then go back, but you can hear it as it's doing that. It's buying a lot of power.
What in
Yeah,
the
it's
green hell?
quiet enough to where shouting would definitely get the attention.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm gonna walk and just Betsy is a very her deal is being around people and knowing how to persuade people, and she's looking for a person. That is the comfort for her. So I'm just looking around, walking. I fold my wings back to my back and just look around, trying to see if there's any sign of life amongst the wreckage.
Ralph, you're pretty in tune with the sounds of this place, especially on shifts when you're working alone. So once you're wrapped up with the bike and you're taking your normal stroll or however you spend your time here, you hear a faint sound, and it doesn't sound like the monsters that occasionally show up. This is like a higher pitched bit of squeaking from a distance. Kai,
Hello?
you would also hear a voice somewhat in the distance.
Kai will start moving towards that.
Perfect.
Probably not barefoot. They would have their sneaky boots on and be going cautiously and quietly.
Okay.
Cautiously and quietly. Sounds overrated.
The opposite. This could be fun. Roll me a check that that moving quietly of yours. I believe your boots apply something here.
Yep. Boots allow a D8 for move silently, similar to the power. 6. They're noisy in the moon dust, I guess.
It's more that there are some beneath the sand. There's like little bits of metal and things. So as you're stepping carefully, a piece of metal hits another piece of metal and just makes an annoying scrape and rustle. And it's kind of hard to be quiet around here.
Kai's going to end up sounding just like those monsters that come wandering around.
It's true. It's true. Ralph, you do hear a bit of rustling, but without the high-pitched noise. That's now how I describe Betsy's voice, I guess.
Right. I guess it's right. And he'll take off the helmet, put the and go into a nearby shed. He'll emerge seconds later, having put the torch and helmet away, and instead he's carrying a pipe wrench, like a pipe wrench.
I believe we
And he'll
discussed
go,
it looking a bit like the Ratchet and Clank wrench.
Yes,
basically,
exactly.
Which I
It's
love.
specifically a wrench that is also meant for combat, so it's like this big heavy thing, and it doesn't just have a handle, it also has a guard around the handle.
Okay, so definitely purposed for that.
Yes. And he'll go first he'll go towards the rustling.
Okay. And a little description for these creatures. They have a bunch of different names. A lot of them just call them the beasties of the shipyard, but you would recognize them instantly on sight. They're these sort of six-limbed gray and gold creatures. They've got like an elongated torso with like four limbs and then, a pair of legs. They kind of run on all of those limbs and fight people. They're not the best. They roam around and kind of scavenge, but they look for people in the crashes, which does occasionally happen, unfortunately. But yeah, so you're on the hunt for those. They're tough, but they usually are alone, and you can fight them off or at least get them to run away.
Here, beastie beast.
Still pretty quiet. Usually you could hear them kind of growling. They're very like vocal with their breathing, ruling. So they're not close if it is them. You hear another scraping. And it does seem to be moving in the direction of the other noise.
Huh. Wonder if I got some little scavengers visiting my moon. And he'll start making his own way towards the high pitched noise.
I'm so mad right now.
Let's see.
Betsy shrieks.
goes
No,
the snitch?
apparently. I think that Betsy is walking not very fast. I'm walking quite calmly. She's always sort of been told she is iron. I have iron nerves. It's nothing can't be solved in the same way that you can solve stage fright. Really. And I go, hello, is anyone? I'm not. Hello? And she is going to look and see. I'm just trying to find any sign of life as I keep walking. Occasionally, I'm not trying to be stealthy. I'm being cautious, but I'm not actively trying to be stealthy. So I occasionally my foot just kicks and I just go, ow, and I just keep walking.
And you continue forth with a methodical search. This isn't like a frightened who's there. It's, just, hey, is there someone this direction? Doesn't seem to, so you move along and search the next area and just kind of give a shout. You can all hear now much more clearly. There are like shipwreck bits kind of everywhere, so you have to step around in different ways to actually get a clear sight of anyone, but you know now, Kai. And Ralph, this is a person that's crying out. And Kai, this is definitely Betsy. At least one of your allies has arrived.
Kai will leave stealth behind and call out. Betsy, is Is that you?
Kai? Kai,
And
where
start
are
heading,
you?
trying to meet in the middle.
Yeah, I'm gonna start now, just picking up the pace now that I know that Kai's here. And possibly, I don't know, I might run into someone on the way. I don't know what the layout is.
Very possible. Yeah, I haven't really. I didn't get a map together, because I am the worst. But
No, I prefer that. I did not prepare a map overlay.
You
Oh,
imagine
no.
I have a map, and Dennis is like, "No, why?
Why didn't you tell me? Good
Why
point,
did you
good
do
point.
this?"
So I was just trying to help you out, actually. It's not my
Yeah,
job.
this was
No.
a part of the
I'm
plan.
extremely considerate, is what it is.
Well-oiled machine.
So because you're used to this place and you know how to duck around the various, bits that are partially worked on and like where people have been cutting metal off of ships, you can decide which one you go to first because you can the shortcuts to get where you need to be, Ralph. So who would you like to run into? Or you could leave it to chance if you're that sort of person.
Chance. Kai for Kai, a 9.
Hi for Kai.
So you hear someone calling out, now two people calling to each other. If these are like bandits trying to steal
We're terrible
material,
at it.
yeah, they're not great at it. Which happens, you've had to chase like teenagers out of here who are like, "Oh, maybe I can get some spare parts for my ship," or you know, steal little bits here and there. And honestly, like y'all have allowed people to do that before. It's not a big deal. Um, but it's good to know who's there, and these people clearly don't have their shit together. Uh, and before long, you come around a corner, like ducking below a jagged edge of a ship, and you see Kai. What is seen? What are they like?
So Kai, our meta question first. Are we shifting appearance or equipment with genre as we shift, or
Do we
is
get a
Kai
new
the
outfit?
or is Kai the cowboy on the moon now?
What the hell happened to my outfit?
That's an all of us kind of decision. I
Yeah.
assume we stayed the
I
same, but if any
I
opinions
love the
are
idea of it changing like Mario Party 2. Like every time you go to a new map, you just have a different outfit.
I like it. I like being able to
that works for me.
re-describe the same character in different outfits, and maybe if they have powers, like maybe those get a new vibe too.
Those look different. Yeah.
Claude,
I mean,
I
it's
would
very-
appreciate at some point. I just need the chance to describe how Betsy's beautiful purple and pink dress is no longer a Western.
that'll
So
work.
yeah, Kai is wearing a spacesuit and a backpack with a helmet, basically covering their face. But the visor would be up. You can see into the helmet. Uh, Bald goatee. Yeah, it looks a lot like this. Um, Higher cheekbones though. More fancy. Yeah. Not as plain. Not as plain as me.
So interestingly, since vampires are very throwbacky, the spacesuit that you're in is also very retro for this place. So the person you see is dressed in like a suit no one would use anymore. I mean, unless they were like collectors of old vintage, spacesuits. Like that's pretty old school.
Old school Earth astronaut type retro spacesuit.
Amazing.
And yeah, that's who you see.
Hey there. You lost?
quite so. You could see their eyes just kind of darting around, like, where the heck am I? The last I was aware, I was in a desert being attacked by zombies.
Right.
I may have bumped my head.
I would say that's a safe bet. That's a nice suit you got.
Kai notices for the first time that they're not wearing their duster and hat, wide brim hat, and it's like, ah, I preferred my other clothes. But yes, it's nice.
Uh, well, I'm Ralph, and I work here, this shipyard.
I'm Kai, and I don't even know where here is. But I
Oh,
hear my friend Betsy, uh, who was with me and can confirm my story.
oh well, let's go make sure she's all right.
By this point, my wings are out because I am in panic. The kind of like stoic show must go on attitude has dropped, knowing that Kai is here and that I just heard them and I still don't see them. So at this point, I'm gonna fly up into the air and look. I'm just and I'm probably the image is you see this very attractive woman fly over, but instead of wearing the saloon outfit, Caillou would look up and instead of wearing this like beautiful like black bodice and like pink and purple skirt and top, it is a silver catsuit, like space catsuit with like some purple vibes. Just like head to toe, very lovely and form fitting, basically like every nerd's dream of like sexy girl in space, because why the hell not? Um, and her wings look like practically like prismatic reflected as she flies above and just I'm just looking for you because at this point like it's just accelerated knowing that you're here. Do I see them?
You do. Immediately, you were basically just behind them, which is how you were hearing them so well, but it would be like a whole thing to get all the way around to them. So flying ended up being a great choice of action.
Yay! My
Out,
wings
cut out
came in
that journey.
handy.
I mean, aside from stopping you from splatting earlier, they're pretty handy. Yeah.
You see, I look down and I just swoop down. You see that just gracefully, like a trained dancer. I swoop down to the ground, land, and just go, "Oh my God, you're okay."
Oh, hi there. You must be Betsy.
Sure am.
Betsy, this is
Um,
Ralph. He works here, wherever
Ralph.
here might be.
It's nice to meet you. I'm so sorry. We were in my hometown, which is a desert, and then there were some zombies and a big machine, and now we're here. I might have hit my head.
You know, that's just what your friend Kai told, including the head bit.
Oh, well, this is why Kai and I get along so well.
I see, both very concussed.
Quite possibly. Maybe don't let us sleep for a little bit.
Yeah, why don't you come on down to my place? We'll get you patched up.
Thank you kindly. You're from here, then. You know where we are.
Oh yeah, I spend all my time here. Welcome to V, and welcome to my shipyard.
V.
It's just what we call this moon.
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 We're on the moon?
We are on a natural satellite orbiting a planet, yes.
God, we're on a moon.
Hmm.
And in the distance, pretty far away, you hear some scraping.
What is that?
Still pretty far away at the moment, but
It's
there are
bad
other things.
news. We should get going.
Don't have to ask me twice, guy.
I will definitely accompany you.
Have you seen Deslin and Aaron at all?
No, Ralph and you are the other living things that I've seen so far.
I haven't seen them either. What if they didn't make it? Let's not think about that right now.
You coming?
We're coming. And just in pure just worry, my wings stay out. I just am not even thinking about it.
It's a
So-
pretty safe trek back. You're making your way. It's slow going because he's used to this place, but you two are not. And every once in a while, there's a noise in the distance, and Ralph kind of course corrects to keep away from the noise. Sorry, go ahead.
No, I was just gonna make conversation. So Ralph, this moon is called V. What? They're those big ships. Is that what you do? Is you build those ships?
Kinda. I can build them. Mostly I just fix.
And do they go on water or do they do something else?
Well, it depends. If I do my job right, they break orbit and they can go pretty much anywhere.
Just a look of pure what crosses Betsy's face. Did not grow up in a world that had spaceships. Like they can fly.
Oh yeah.
Hey Dennis, were there airships in Virton? Or is this totally new?
Let's say you've heard of airships. But Virton was far enough out of the way where you never really saw them.
Got it. Wow. Well, so you said that the scraping that we're getting away from is bad news. Do you care to elaborate? We just came from bad news.
Yeah, I can't say much about the zombies, but we got little critters here that I like to call beasties. They like to prey on stragglers and anybody that might be around here that's not used to the place. Oh, not to scare you, not to frighten you off. I'm just giving you the honest truth.
So you have these creatures. Okay, not an unusual thing for us. I'm sure you've run into plenty of beasties of your own. And I think I checked to make sure my pistol is still there. And rather than being strapped to my thigh, I'm like, oh, I have a holster. What am I wearing? Kai, what are you wearing?
I'm not familiar with this outfit.
Oh, that's a old retro spacesuit from about 50 years ago.
Of course you're wearing something retro.
Oh.
And I realize I have a holster now, and I'm very excited.
And as the conversation kind of rolls on, you've reached Ralph's shop. What's his setup like?
Ralph just brings them to the closest defendable structure that he knows of. He's got a lot of little hideouts because this is a big shipyard. He doesn't want to have to walk to all the places every time he needs a new tool. So in this case, you can see two little shacks off to the side that look like they're just like tin roof shacks, with steel beams supporting the roof. Looks like it might blow over if the wind blew the wrong direction or too hard. But next to it, you can see a ship fully functional spaceship. It looks sort of like, you've seen the Mandalorian, the Razor Crest, except like new.
Ooh.
I'm having a hard time picturing what that might look like.
Oh, wow. Is that yours?
Yeah, built that one for me. I don't use it very often. I just it's the most comfortable place. That was near enough.
I lean into Kai and I just go, Kai, I think I want a spaceship. Did I actually get concussed?
Well, we are on a moon. I don't know what else is here, but a spaceship does sound ideal to remove ourselves from the moon and go elsewhere. So no, I think you're okay.
I wonder what happened to that alchemist.
Well, if we don't see the sheriff again, we don't have to worry about the alchemist.
Right. You don't have to go back there. That's where I need to collect, pay my rent. I know I'm not in my apartment very much, but landlord's gonna get mighty bothered if I don't pay it.
And
But I
amongst
suppose you have a point.
the rest of your setup, you also have like a few monitors with like really high tech, but this looks like really old equipment still. So you've got like a few cameras that you can watch. They're not the best quality and they're hard to actually adjust. But you've got a few different other little like radio systems, and you have one little station that they keep online all the time, and it's for distress signals because the ships usually get here just from being caught in the orbit and crashing. They're like ships from far out that have been abandoned, or the crew has had something horrible happen to them, or they've had to, escape pod and abandon the ship, and they just kind of float in and crash. But you always keep, systems open to get distress signals in case someone actually calls for help in one of the crashes. And it's fairly rare. Usually it's an equipment malfunction as part of the crash. But it's been quiet lately until start hearing that telltale beep of a distress signal. This is a fairly low range sensor. Distress signals would be coming from the shipyard, not anywhere outside.
So there's a distress signal somewhere on the surface in the shipyard.
Yep. And most like there hasn't been a recent. There was a couple hours ago. There were actually a little bit of crashing. Some metal debris landed, but then it went quiet again. It wasn't anything worth looking up. It definitely wasn't ship sized. So this would have been a ship that was already in the yard, suddenly sending out a distress signal.
Huh.
What's going on?
Well, trouble didn't find us, but it found someone else. It looks. Someone's calling for help in the yard.
Then
I
we
don't
should
know
go help
who.
them. Then we should go help them. It may be one of our other companions.
You're right. It could be Aaron or Deslin. All right. What do you do in a situation like this?
Well, it's probably not your friend. If your friends are from the same place that you are, it's probably not them.
Oh.
You acting like you've never seen one of these before, and I'll point at the ship. If you've never seen one of these before, then how would they know how to activate a distress signal?
Well, I didn't really ask where they were from, to be completely honest, but you got a good point.
They have a habit of pushing buttons and dials and knobs whenever they can.
It is
How
true.
we got into this mess.
Does the ship have a lever? Because if the ship has a lever, Aaron will pull it.
Oh, there's so many levers in here, and
Oh,
most
God,
of
he's
them
gonna pull
aren't
all of
supposed to be
them.
pulled. Yeah, we should probably go then.
Just pull the lever, pull the.
And as you set out once again from safety, Are you all up for a short break?
Yeah,
Yeah.
we can take a short break for
Okay.
sure.
Cool.
Awesome.
Then,
Before you murder
I
us
have no
all.
yeah, I have no power to do that, but the person with the power will.
Dang
I know we're going
it!
to
do
go
a break real
onwards and
quick.
onwards and onwards. We will be right back. Let's give it a 10-minute break. So we'll be back at 10 past. Don't go anywhere. We'll see you in a second. Welcome back, everybody. I'm not running this show. Claude, where did we leave off?
Hello. We left off as a mysterious distress signal within this shipyard of crashed, derelict vessels. A distress signal came into you from these ships.
All right.
Quite abnormal.
All right, give me a moment and see if I can figure out where it's coming from. This only tells me that someone's in distress. It doesn't actually tell me where they are. It's just a regular low-level radio frequency. So give me a moment. And Ralph pulls out a 3 different keyboards that were clearly pulled from 3 different ships. And he starts typing away at one of them, switches to another one, and the monitors that are arrayed along the inside of this tin roof shack are also all different sizes, all like different. Like one of them's way brighter than the rest. Another one is like tinted green for some reason. They're clearly all mostly broken, or were broken and abandoned at one point, and he's cobbled together all of these pieces into some semblance of a security system, and he's switching through cameras. And GM, I would like to see if I can figure out what's happening from here before we.
Yeah, go ahead and give me a check to narrow that down.
I don't think all of my actual stuff is for fixing things. Fixing stuff is. Ah! 9. German for no.
Is there a way that I can help? No, I can't help. What am I talking about? I don't know what I'm doing. I'm like, how do I look at the keyboard and I just go, they look a bit like a piano. What if you press
don't touch that. Don't touch that.
All right. I'm not touching.
I will allow it if you wanna do a help, and we'll flavor it.
If you allow it, I will give you an effort point.
All right.
As I go, well, okay, what about that one? It reminds me of an E flat.
It's one of those things where since you feel yourself being watched, you like are more aware of what you're doing, so you would catch yourself potentially doing something wrong. So go ahead and roll another dice.
5.
A 5. Okay. Yeah, it's not too much work to get a rough idea. Like, you know where to head. Like, there's only so many ships that would, in that area, that would actually have a distress beacon. Like, some of them have already been torn apart, and you know that. And then some is just, just metal chunks. Like, you don't have to worry about those. So you got a rough area of, like, okay, there's a couple of ships that might still have a distress signal capability.
Well, I don't know what an E flat is, but, and I'll hit the key that you pointed at, and a map appears on the nearest screen.
Your magical windows.
There.
Your magical windows convert to maps and books and windows to other realms. This is fascinating.
That is intriguing, to say the least.
I'm not sure what to say. Thanks. This is pretty run-of-the-mill, actually quite low end for most ships that come through. Well, I know where the distress signal's coming from. I could take you there.
We'll gladly go with you.
All right, a journey it is. He hoists his giant wrench on his shoulder and marches out the door.
And it's kind of like out on the edges of this place. It's a huge place, but again, you know the paths to kind of, you'll get there. And you'll do it in a manner that's like not a ton of exertion. You can do that kind of work easily. You've done it for so long, but like, why work harder when you can work? So you start heading that way. But But again, you find yourself moving towards noises. There's
This is more noise than I had ever expected any one day.
there's
Yeah,
a bit of it.
sorry.
There's people screaming, metal hitting, like it's a lot louder, especially on one of your lone shifts.
I just hope we can resolve this and I can get back to my project.
Right. Well, we do appreciate you taking the time. That's for sure.
Oh, no problem, no problem. Always willing to lend a helping hand.
Um, I am actually going to look and go, do you think it would be helpful or harmful if I took an aerial viewpoint? I don't want to call unwanted attention, but if you think it'll help, and I kind of sheepishly gesture to the wings.
GM, can the beasties fly?
They cannot. They do if they show up in a group. A lot of times they're alone, but every once in a while you'll get kind of a handful of them at once. They do tend to just move towards whatever living thing they see. So it's possible that they would rush looking for where this flying creature might land, but they have no way of getting to her themselves.
As long as you stay clear of any ships, you should be fine. And it's there was no scheduled landings today, so as long as nothing unscheduled happens, we should be all right.
All right. Kai, I'm going up, all right?
Yes,
And
scouting ahead, perhaps even.
right. I kind of smile and try to get my confidence back as I take off into the sky, just looking around to see what I can find.
Go ahead and give me a check for that.
Yeah, again, I don't really have great perception or anything like that, or like looking around at stuff.
You are up high, so I'm giving you I'm adjusting the difficulty.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, it's gonna be a D10, but we'll see how it goes. That is a 4.
Sure. All right. It doesn't take a lot to see that up ahead there's more of these ships, but right whenever you get up high, you're looking and you see something kind of scuttle out of one of a broken window, crawl through and then go to like another ship. Crawl
Something
sort of under it.
scuttle, like a
Yeah,
creature.
like a creature.
I'm gonna swoop back down and go. You said beasties, right?
Yeah, little six-legged things, typically gray.
Just pretty sure I just saw one. Doing a big scuttle through one of the ships. So,
Do you know which ship? Can you tell me?
I'm
And
gonna
GM
gesture.
trying to figure out if it's where the signal came.
It seems like it's in the direction that the signal came from, but it's the signal would be past that. And you're able to point out which ship it is because this one is like a much darker gray than the ones
Mhm.
around it.
This one's a slightly dark. um, they're all gray. Why are they all?
I said
Never mind.
a much darker gray, not slightly.
I was just gonna joke like they're all gray. You should have some color. Never mind. It wouldn't make sense for you to have color.
It's because paint's expansive, and in space you're usually too far away to see anything in the first place.
That's fair. Right. Well, I think we should maybe steer clear because I don't know what that thing's gonna do.
It should, as long as we stay quiet, it'll leave us alone, and I'd rather get to wherever it is that we're going, see what happened quickly, just in case someone's. So as long as we stay quiet, it should stay inside that dark gray ship.
Great. I'm gonna go back to flying so I can at least kind of like remove myself. And if worse comes to worse, if they do see me, at least they'll like come hunting after me and wait for me to land rather than go after Kai or Ralph.
All right. So I will have Kai and Ralph roll a check. Stay quiet. You're not on the ground. It's more of a sight thing for you, so you don't have to roll anything for this one.
Be a 5.
And Kai,
What'd you get for
did you
stealth,
roll a
Kai?
check for?
Yeah, Kai, what did you get for stealth?
Oh, sorry. 3.
Oh, okay, perfect. So yeah,
That is
you're
good.
able to quietly go, and since you know that it's which ship it's likely in, you're able to kind of quietly take a more roundabout route to still continue in the direction that you're going, putting some more ships between you and the scuttly one. Um, I'll assume you're still looking about as you're flying, so
Yeah.
I'll let that last check carry on again.
Yeah, I'm
And
basically when Ralph said I'm looking for the fastest route, that's kind of where like my eye is going to, is like how do we get there the most quickly? He said it was in this direction.
and you would see another one of these things, but this one's way far out there, probably not, directly next to you, but there is like a lot of activity apparently right now.
I'm gonna like swoop down not quite as rapidly, but like kind of do the thing where I'm hovering off the ground and maybe mildly showing off a bit. Um, and I just say, I think if I had to swoop down for every little critter we saw, I'd be swooping down a lot. There's a lot of them out.
Oh dear.
Is that not normal?
Usually they don't come this far into the yard in numbers like this. Something's wrong, and I don't know what.
Well, you have 2 visitors from another world that didn't land here by ship, and a distress call somewhere in the middle of the yard. I don't think that's too surprising,
No, and
given
there was some
the list of surprising
fallen
things that could
debris.
happen.
There was fallen debris earlier, too.
Oh,
Huh.
Yeah,
what
a
was
branch almost pierced my heart.
what was the debris, Ralph?
Oh, I don't know. It happens every now and then. I don't usually have the time to go check it out.
Yeah, I wonder if it was pieces of a tree, Kai.
Well, one of them almost impaled me.
That is the worst possible luck that you of all people could have.
I am aware.
You are a lucky son of a gun. I'm gonna go ahead and float up again, but not quite as high. Now that I've heard that this is unusual, I am a little wary to go too far from the others.
Definitely one of those things where there's now that bit of tension in the air that's like, okay, new here, this is unusual by a resident standard. Like yeah, it's a bit alarming. But you're making good progress to getting where you need to go. You don't spot any of them close by. You do catch like one, could have been the same one from the distance. Um, and moving relatively quietly still, the two of you, you get closer. But then you hear in the same direction um, a very alarming, especially for you, Ralph. You hear what is clearly a ship coming online,
Uh-oh,
or
that's
trying
not...
to. It's an engine starting up. It's a little like you can tell it's faltering a bit,
Oh,
but an attempt is being
Oh.
made.
Oh, dear. Oh, that's a C-130Z. I hadn't finished fixing that. He ain't going nowhere. But, if he knows what he's doing, he might have... there was just one missing part I had. If he brought it... Alright, let's go check this out. Come on.
Right, even I know that's not normal.
And as you begin moving, Ralph, you are struck with the horrid realization that was scheduled to have its warp drive removed. It is not yet. It would be incredibly foolish for someone to go from startup to warp, but it is a possibility on this ship
Oh,
specifically.
no.
What?
If he activates that engine now on the surface of this moon, I don't know what's gonna happen. There's supposed to be safety regulators. How did he get around the... Come on. And Ralph is gonna start running at this point.
Yeah.
I follow.
So it's either someone who knows exactly what they're doing or someone who has no idea whatsoever what they're doing.
I feel like the second one is worse.
Both are dangerous.
Yes.
Booking it. I don't want another
Pausing-
void, Kai. We just came out of a void.
Pausing just long enough to remove his boots and tuck them in his bag.
What do
Kai
you come
catches up
off?
quickly. Kai catches up quickly with his leaps.
All right, roll me a check as you guys speed that way.
That's a
throwing
movement
stealth to the
check.
wind.
That is a
3.
D10 for me. That is also a 3.
Nice.
Can we get 3 for 3?
6.
Yeah.
We did some math with it. It's fine. Kai, the only reason you've fallen slightly behind is you have paused to take off the boots, and now you're gaining on them without them. It's slowing you down. And yeah, you guys are gaining a lot of ground on getting there. Before you hear the engine start a bit more successfully, it sounds
no.
like. So the noise it's a huge whirring that starts up, and it gives a very high-pitched screech. And
Perfect. We've arrived just in time for it to explode.
No, it's still got 2 or 3 more steps before it's active.
How many steps does it take to make this thing fly?
Well, I don't know. I've never turned on the engine without the breaker before. That's what that sound was.
Yeah, it's not the best. And then you realize that the screech of the engine has stopped, but there was still a bit of screech happening. And that is the sound of the creatures, seemingly startled
Beasties!
by the engine noise. You can hear them running in your direction. They're kind of scattering all about. That means a handful, potentially, could be headed your way. And I think with that, we're going to roll initiative? Called initiative in
A
this
reaction.
bad thing.
Reaction.
The reaction. Why am I
We are
so
entering
bad? Okay.
combat.
We're entering combat.
This is what happens when we're like, we play D&D. Can you tell we play D&D? Shit.
And so many other ones use it, but I like reaction better, and I actually have the word reaction in front of me.
I quite enjoy just reaction as because it makes sense. You are literally reacting to a situation.
Mhm.
And you don't have
Uh-oh.
to, you don't have to get into it and specify yeah.
Ooh, I got a 2
cool.
this time.
Wow, you are ready to go.
I can't see what you're fading into the. Oh no, a 10.
All right. So that's a 2 for Betsy.
Betsy is like, I'm not dealing with this shit again.
And Ralph, what did you get?
8.
Y'all.
Bye, Betsy.
Bye. Nice to know you. Zooms off on her wings, never to be seen again. That's why she's not in next session.
This is my home now. Goodbye.
I'm just gonna live on the moon.
Oh, that was an unfortunate role for many of you. Ralph, though, could I get you to roll it again real quick? You're on a tie with someone.
That is a 7.
Okay. Then it is decided.
Yikes.
I don't like the sound of that.
you're all in luck in that you see the creatures right away. So you, Betsy, who can go first, can do things.
I'm gonna.
You see
Sorry, go ahead. I'm sorry.
immediately. Sorry, you see immediately 3 of these things. It looks like they're running from the noise, so it's not like they're in hunting instincts all rushing towards you. It's
Right.
disorganized as they're kind of like fleeing and looking back. But these things are, you know, open mouth, jagged teeth that are like drooling and
Hmm.
panting as they run.
It's more like get the heck out of their way. I have two thoughts. I have the thought of if I can fly and pull them away, that I can see if I can clear a path for the other two so that they don't get nommed. And I think that's kind of where my brain is going. I think with my hand on my pistol, because you never know, I'm going to go ahead and take off into the air, and I would like to see if I can use some kind of like influence to make them go in my direction and not theirs. Like if I look real shiny.
I like that. Yeah, I can work with that.
So the reason I bring this up for the sake of people at home is I took the talent influencer. And at rank 1, we're now rank 2. But at rank 1, checks I make to influence a large population. I'm being a little bendy with the rules here, Dennis. I know. I know it's more like spreading rumors and stuff, but I'm like, but it's a large crowd. I can be shiny thing.
It'll work. I'll have to mess with the target number that you're going for here, but yeah.
That's
I
totally
say it
fair.
works.
Mm-hmm.
I say you go for it.
Okay, I will roll my d8. That's a 6.
Okay. Well, you.
Not shiny enough.
That's the way it
Hashtag
goes
not shiny
sometimes.
enough.
Hashtag not shy.
Not shiny enough.
That is very sad. You float up. You definitely see them kind of notice you, but they're continuing on their path, and they actually.
So that was my movement. If you would allow me an action, or was the check an action?
I'll let you do an action still, and
I would like to prepare a pistol just in case one of them tries to attack my friend. Like
Okay.
shoot if it goes for Ralph or like unavoidably. I don't want to shoot unless I have to, but if it unavoidably goes for Kai or Ralph, I would like to prepare a pistol shot.
Okay. Definitely. Okay. Let me note that that's there. They still had a good bit of distance on them, so they're gonna spend this turn moving. They're pretty fast, and I haven't mapped out the zones, so I'm just going to say that they get in about like a zone away from you. That's all they do is move, running in your direction, but you can see that they have noticed you. Actually, 2 of them get close, and actually Ralph before the last one. There's 3 of them. 2 of them are much closer now. They've got a beat on you, and the other one's a little further away.
Are they in the same zone as each other? Like if I move in melee with one, am I going to be in melee with the other as well?
No, you're going to be next to their zone. You would be able to get in melee with one of them. They're kind of spread out.
All right, I will move essentially into Kai's path, or towards whichever one is will be blocking Kai, and I'm going to go. All right, this never gets old, and he's going to wind up and do a big ol' Happy Gilmore swing at this thing's head.
I love Ralph so much.
All right, let's go.
All right, we're level 2, and you can't use a D8 with attacks until level 3. 7.
Yeah, so it goes unless you would like to spend a bunch of effort.
No, I got other cool stuff to use my effort for.
Works. No, these things they're not that dangerous. I mean, they're dangerous in that they'll scratch you and stuff. but they're more defensive than they are like on the offense. They tend to go after already injured things, so they're more about escaping usually than straight up, taking it. But they're pretty hardy. This one sidesteps you and growls in your direction.
Well, that's not
And
very
the
nice. As I wind up for a second swing.
and the final one moves up into that same square with the two of you. The same zone as you and the other one that you swung at. So you've now got two next to you and one a little further off. And it is Kai's turn.
Well, their natural avoidance tendencies fits right into Kai's plans anyway. As a vampire, I may use a D8 on checks to persuade someone to do something, and as a descriptor for that, Kai is going to bare their fangs and puff out, basically in a classic vampire scare you move, trying to scare them out of the way
Right.
Boo.
with a 6.
With a 6, it goes in low like it's about to lunge up towards you and kind of avoids that gaze, unfortunately. They're quick. Pretty quick. Betsy.
Wait, did they get a turn?
They
Spent all
moved.
their stuff moving
Oh,
up.
they all moved. That's right.
But that one that ran up closest to Kai, I would say that's enough to trigger your shot.
Great. I am going
Or
to attack it with my pistol. So let me just roll that D10. Oh Lord, it was almost a 2, and then it knocked over to an 8. So that is going to be a no-go as I fire off a shot and it misses. Damn it!
It sort of flinches at the noise, but it like they do seem pretty skittish. But they're attacking, and it's actually back to you.
Great. So I have my full turn. Kind of seeing what Kai just did and feeling a little inspired. Seeing kind of the try to spook them away and seeing how spooked they are. I'm actually going to go ahead and fly close to the one in front of Kai. And I'm going to, as an attack, fire my gun in the air to see if it gets scared enough to run. If I could use some kind of persuasion, like, get out! Get!
Yeah, I'll allow it.
Great. That is going to be a D8 for me. That's a 5.
It's enough. You float down in front of it, and your wings just suddenly, like, at the perfect timing, the lights that have been kind of like pulsing, it builds up to its brightest right whenever you swoop down and, confronted with the vampire, and then it looks up as it avoids that gaze, and suddenly there's this shining creature.
I was
loud
shiny
burst of noise.
enough!
You're shiny enough this time. And this one, especially since it's not next to the other two, it just flees. It takes off, just tears off to the side, running from the noise, which you guys are very aware is still building a bit.
All right, we gotta go.
And now we are to the two that are next to Ralph. So the first one slashes out with one of its claws. They're not the sharpest, but there's a lot of them on this hand. And so it swipes towards you.
And it is a melee attack, so I get to use a D5.
It's
5.
It doesn't get you.
Yes!
It swipes wide. These things are hard to hit, but they're not the best at hitting back. Unfortunately,
I'm going to, as it misses me, I'm going to use my parry and counter ability at rank, because I had this at rank 2, while wielding a medium weapon. and if you succeed on an avoid check against a creature's melee attack, you may spend 3 effort points to immediately make an attack against the.
Okay.
So here we go. Do better this time. Worse, it's an 8. Goodbye, effort.
You are just
No!
But I get one
trading
back.
misses, but you get one back because you missed. And the other one in your square is going to go ahead and also swipe at you. So you get one swipe as it tries to get you. You swing your wrench, and it makes it kind of give you some space. And right in that moment, the other one lunges.
2.
This is another melee. 2. Another dodge, but without the 3 effort, unfortunately. You don't get to swing back till now because it's back to you.
God damn it. Look what you've done. Look what you've done.
That's a
Oh,
2.
no. Oh, that hits him. Describe attack.
Right on the head.
And you see it momentarily, like it basically bites its tongue that's hanging out of its mouth, and its eyes cross a little as you hit it right in the skull, and it kind of, dazed dog sort of stumble. It's still up, but just barely. Doesn't seem super into this fight anymore. And we are to Kai.
Okay, for the movement, I will move into an adjacent zone so that I can attack with melee. And then just to show off some of the things in the system, I'm going to spend 1 effort and 2 health to invoke blood power at rank 2 to boost my martial. Oh no, that only works for powers. Oops. Scrap that. It's just a regular martial arts attack because I
Was
didn't
building up
read
to
well
something
enough.
hardcore. I was like, oh boy, here we go.
That's okay. That just means I'm at full health instead of down by 2.
Yeah, that's half your health.
Yeah.
That'd be a lot to give up. But
Yeah, we missed. It was an 8.
Dang it.
it indeed misses.
Rude.
I need a
Scrap
combat
it.
power.
But yeah, you know that you can hit them though. You've seen it happen. So
I can't. I've seen other people do it.
I sure
That's a good
can't.
point.
The hell.
point. It's possible for others. Betsy, we are back to you.
I just want to get these guys away from my friends so we can go address the big problem. So I'm gonna straight up just fire my pistol at the one that's causing Kai issues. I said get. That's a 1, baby.
Yes.
1. So remind me, is that an extra damage on that?
That is a critical hit. That is 1 extra damage.
Yep, PC rolls a 1 on any of the dice used for the attack. The target loses 1 extra health. This usually results in the target losing 2 health total.
Well, I have great news for you then. You get to describe how you put this thing down.
I mean, I feel kind of bad because I know it was scared, but it wasn't leaving my friends alone. And I went, "You're not listening to me!" Bam! And just it goes right through its neck. And I go, "Sorry, little guy. We got problems."
You are at least confident that it will not suffer.
Yeah, very much like
Not
a
that it's
immediately put
yeah,
down,
the super-
not
yeah.
meant to have pain. Just very much like, I'm going to put you out of your misery, little guy. This is what my daddy taught me before I became a performer.
With
Just
that
got to
kind
have
of shot,
mercy.
super clean. Yeah.
How'd you know the
confident.
heart
the
was
noise
in the
just
neck?
stops immediately.
How'd I know the what?
The heart was in the neck.
I did not know the heart was in the neck, but I will tell you, even in our world, a neck shot is pretty lethal.
Oh, it doesn't seem all that different from mine then.
But I'm just glad it didn't suffer, But we got a bigger problem, and we still have that. Do we still have that one last guy, or are we good? Yeah, that one last guy. So I'm like, all right, if you guys feel comfortable, I'm going to take off slightly ahead, see if I can get a gain, and you can just Maybe me killing its friend will make it go away, and I'm gonna use my movement to head towards the ship.
Works. You're right near a door, probably. There's like a little ramp that is down.
Awesome.
Seems likely that that's the entrance. This thing once more takes a swing. It's now in mortal combat with this wrench wielding.
Fuck this guy, apparently. This beastie has decided you will die.
Locked in,
Well-
yeah.
I've been rolling some pretty good avoid checks. Right as I say that, I roll an 8.
Why did you do that to yourself? Why did you curse yourself like this?
Clearly because I just
Oh,
wanted
but you
more
get an
effort
effort
back, that's
back.
all.
You do gain an effort back.
Wait, did I get an effort back for not being shiny enough the first time?
You were supposed to.
Woo!
That was my bad. Good.
No, it's good.
on you for
I should have remembered.
So it is able to give you a nice little scratch, Ralph, and at the tune of 1 of your health.
Ah!
And now it's your turn. The
Well-
revenge tour.
I was gonna say something clever, but it left my mind. You're just gonna die now. Right? 4.
That is indeed a hit.
Yes.
Bopping him on the head again, or going for the neck heart, as it turns out.
I'm actually going to grab. I'm gonna, instead of swinging the wrench, I'm going to sort of stab forward with it, and I'm gonna click a button on the handle, and the wrench will compress around this guy's mouth, head, snout thing, and then suddenly twist.
There is a crackle. These things are pretty flexible, but you know the breaking point of that flexibility, and this will no longer trouble you. It drops to the ground.
Well, that was fun.
What hasn't dropped is the noise, which continues to build.
Let's go!
Forward to the distress.
I'm sorry. I'm coming.
All right, and then Kai, I assume you're also moving forward, so I
Yep.
will say we are now out of combat turns, and you guys can just kind of figure out what's going on here. Betsy, you would be the first one in, and this stuff just looks like madness. This
I take a point of health from the pure brain hurt.
what is happening?
What in the fuck?
So you get into this fairly dark chamber. There's like little floor lights that are these small tubes that are glowing. This is, you don't know that this is why, but this is lights seem to be on auxiliary power right now, with all the power going to the engine. And you look around. There's a bunch of like stuff knocked over. There's a table, but immediately you can see it looks like something was dragged in here. There's a little path of metal that it looks like was scraped through this area.
Mhm.
Little groove leading up and then further into the place. It's a small ship and it's broken apart, but the you don't see anyone in here, and the noise is coming from further back.
I kind of gesture to Ralph and Kai and point. I'm trying not to be loud.
I want to cut off the engine from the source, but I don't know what'll happen if I do that. Not that familiar with this particular model. Gotta
Right.
Get inside.
All right.
Let's head on in.
All right. The two of you now see basically the same description. Ralph, you know further back in is where the engine is. This is like a 2-floor type of thing. So there's a small recession that you can go down and it loops around, and that's where the engine would be. You can definitely see someone has been in here though. This does not look the way it did whenever you first like examined and wrote down everything that would be in here. There's a little like a sleep pod. This is a long travel ship. The sleep pod seems to have been like the bottom of it torn out, like someone using it for parts. A bunch of stuff like that. Other pieces of ships that like shouldn't be in here but were dragged in and then disassembled as well. It looks like someone else has been tinkering a bit.
Is there anyone
Nobody
around?
steals my parts.
Oh, you pissed him
Find
off,
this
whoever you
guy.
are. Sorry, what'd you say? Did you say
Gotta
he had to
find this
die?
guy.
Oh, find this guy. I thought you
No.
said he had to die, and I was like, that's real brutal.
No, I mean, maybe. Depends on what. If he came with you, you might know something real evil about him. But I don't particularly like killing, unless it's beasties. They can. You saw what happened.
Right.
The far corner of this room is a bit darker than the rest. It's not like to the pathway that you'd be going, but go ahead and roll me a check to look around a little more.
2.
This is very dark, so that
1.
1. Wow. So as you're going through, the lights are super dim, but you all of you actually rolled really well. So like just glancing around trying to get where you're going quickly, you kind of spot like, wait, is there someone in one of those little sleep pods? And Betsy, you can see very clearly that Deslin is in one of them.
Deslin? I immediately run over. Deslin.
And it's like a glass tube.
Bap.
Like a little you see him shake slightly and his eyes open. Oh, I reckon this is the worst headache I ever had before.
Can he hear me through the glass? You
He's
just
talking
see
to himself, and suddenly he looks up and sees that there's someone looking at him in here.
you see Betsy in a silver cat suit with her wings out, like.
And he's wearing, it's similar to what he was wearing before because he had like his weird combo cowboy hat, wizard hat.
Mm-hmm.
It's just like a much more chic helmet than what Kai has. This is like the modern update.
More up to date.
Yeah. It still like weirdly has like a very like conical shape in the back as if it's trying to mimic his floppy cowboy hat. So it's still not, it still doesn't look great, but yeah. And
Wait, so he when he teleported, he just transformed into a cone head?
No, God, he did. He so did.
his hat did. Oh goodness.
I gesture at Kai and go, "It's Deslin! It's Deslin!"
And he's clearly very out of it, as if he is not a player character right this moment.
Almost as if he's an NPC.
The veil just falls. I'm saying you're not getting any work out of him right now.
That's fine. We accept this.
Yes, and the Tinkerer must be Cybin.
You think so?
Trying to make another one of his gadgets to send himself back home.
Oh God, that's why we're here, isn't it? It's because of him. Well, because of Aaron, let's be real, but still.
Well, how do you know it's not this Aaron film?
That
he
would
not
not strike me as a Tinkerer.
I mean, to be fair, Aaron's very good at pulling levers he's not supposed to. I'm not sure that translates into I know how to start a ship. Unless the ship can only be started by a lever, in which case he'd be great at it.
So Deslin is able to kind of stumble out of the thing with some help opening it because he's pretty weak right now. Yeah, it's the door pops open finally, and with some assistance, he's where do we go from here? Oh,
I
my hood.
mean, do you remember anything or just waking up here?
Oh, I just woke up here. Oh man, I was being
Ralph,
attacked by zombies.
lead the way to wherever in this ship might make a good laboratory.
Yeah, after you, Ralph. By the way, Deslin, Ralph Deslin. We'll talk later. And
Head hurts.
Hi. Depends on what kind of laboratory you're talking about, but I think that the engines would be a great source of power. So the
I'm gonna
engine
let
room.
to the engine room. I'm gonna let
To the
Deslin like
engine room.
lean on me as he needs to, like because I
And
know
he
he's not.
definitely takes you up on that. Yeah.
Hold. I'm so glad I got you out of that horde.
Oh God. Yeah. Thank you. I don't know how that happened.
Well, I mean, we know how it happened. Aaron is how it happened.
Aaron is how it happened.
All right,
God.
come on.
And he leans on you. He's actually, it's awkward because he's like basically half a foot shorter than you.
Yeah, I'm like 6 feet
Yeah,
tall.
you're propping him up in a weird way, but yeah, it works out.
I think I've just kind of maybe like with his permission, I've got kind of like an arm looped a
Yeah,
little.
like under. Yeah,
Yeah, like under his like underarm and kind of holding him up a little bit
yeah,
rather
just to
than
keep
like
him.
a letting him lean. It's more like a
Yeah, so he doesn't have to put his full weight on his feet because he
yeah.
seems pretty unsteady. But yeah, you guys move forward, and you can hear the noise of the engine room. Um, luckily, you don't hear what sounds like a warp drive engaging, Ralph. Um, but there's activity as you round the corner. There's more light in this room, and before you even step into the area, you see from the light shadows. Someone moving around, definitely a humanoid figure.
Hey Ralph, you want to go say hi to our new friend?
Uh,
There is the smell of smoke. This is not your normal oil and electrical machinery that you're used to being around. It smells very chemical in nature, and you can. It's a bit caustic as you're getting closer. Um, yeah, it's very reminiscent for the two of you. Sorry, Ralph,
Ah,
of another laboratory.
I look at Kai and go, smell familiar?
Yeah, Kai will call out, Simon, what have you done?
Ivan, a voice says back, higher than Cybin. A bit feminine. So my son hasn't given up yet. There's a woman at the back of the room, reminiscent of Cybin, less worn, it seems. She's sitting in a chair, stirring some chemicals, it seems, in beakers. She seems very relaxed. There's it looks like a chunk of the machine that Cybin had built. You assume this is what was scraped, dragged into here, and it is hooked up, very makeshift. You can see, Ralph, someone has made some sort of ad hoc connection between this and the engine, and from that to the warp drive. And she is very absent-mindedly stirring with one hand as she considers you. In her other hand, a book is open. She looks inside. I do miss Cybin. It's been so long. I used to love these stories. Shouldn't be long now.
What? Are you seriously gonna try to teleport us?
I'm going to make a jump. What you do is of no consequence. Except for that name. How do you know, Simon?
His machine went haywire and sent us here.
So the machine is still working. Well.
Probably not after that.
And my boy, he's alive?
Last
We
we
don't-
saw him.
We don't know where he is, ma'am. There was zombies, and then we
Giant tree,
our friend
and
threw
then-
a marble.
and then nothing, and then white light, and then here.
See a smile as you say marbles. I did think the presentation for those was a bit too fanciful. She seems a bit sad. And not fully paying attention to what's going on here. She seems like she's about to speak, and then she's interrupted by the whirring of the engine increasing.
Ma'am, you do not have the proper safety measures in place on this vessel at the moment. I highly recommend you shut that engine down before you blow this moon sky high.
I believe I've made the correct precautions. Says very serious, but yeah, she seems a bit lost. And she turns, and you see that she's eyeing the small, not exactly lever. It's a mechanism that you turn and push, and that's how you turn on the warp drive. She sort of looks in that direction. I think I got the precaution, right?
Ma'am, I know. You wanna find your son. I get it. Your son wants to find you. He very much wants to find you. He told my friend and I that, and we support this. But not at the cost of the moon, please. Like I just met this guy, and I rather like him, and you should listen to him.
It's too important. If I can't find them, then the moon, Virton, none of it will matter. It's a necessary cost, she says very adamantly as she stands.
I'm gonna just yeet myself towards her to try to stop her.
Yeah, you can easily get between her and the mechanism. She stands very slowly.
Excuse me, as I stop the plot, I stop the entire plot.
That's why I haven't rolled this yet.
What would you like to do, Kai?
I would like to persuade her to forego this insane plot. You don't want to do that.
I want to
Using
persuade her to
all
end the series.
using all the mesmerism of the vampirism trait with a
Can-
2.
Yeah, look at you go.
So you lock eyes. And as she looks into their eyes, it's kind of like a haze lifts, and she like shakes her head slightly, and oh goodness, Simon's alive. Simon's alive. That's good.
Yes.
Okay. Well, we need to get to him.
Ralph, what will happen if she activates this device? What will happen to the moon?
I don't know what this device is, indicating the piece of Simon's machine.
Ah, yes. Sorry.
Universal teleporter.
As they say, it is that. Simon's mother confirms.
Well, then I reckon with the amount of power that a warp drive of this caliber has, it won't be just us that gets teleported. This entire moon might go to a new dimension.
Oh goodness.
Wow.
She she crosses her arms. She's like, God.
You picked one hell of a ship to fiddle with, ma'am.
She turns to you, complete earnest in her eyes. She's, how can we fix the ship then?
Very easily. Let me show you. And I'm going to attempt to fix the ship.
All right.
What your character was designed to do!
So this thing is in rough shape, but I'm sure Ralph has fixed worse. You're not totally sure what this woman has done to it. It's in much better working order than you would have expected. She worked quick, because it was not in this condition whenever you left.
All right.
What's your name, ma'am?
I'm so sorry. I'm Lydia.
Making a note of this name.
Is she sworn to carry your burdens?
I don't understand that
I'm
reference.
sorry.
Please don't let her be a Lydiot.
This is me right now. I'm just like, I will look this up later.
Skyrim.
Oh, Skyrim. Okay, I've never played.
That's a 7.
I would like to help by walking over to him and going, no, that looks upside down, and flipping something he's working on.
It's pretty outside your expertise. But I'm an extremely lenient person, so I'll allow it.
Yay! We have a nice GM.
Yay, benevolent GM! Thank you. All right.
2.
That's 2. All right. So a problem you have realized.
Whoa! How'd you know that was upside down? And I'll immediately go back to work.
Apparently, I just know things. I'm not used to this.
Just knowing things ain't how repairs work, but I'm gonna teach you a few things one of these days.
It is now.
It looked wrong, and I'm all about making sure. I mean, my expertise is much more performance and people, but you can tell when someone's having a bad day, and that part looked like it was having a bad day.
As you begin to make these repairs and connect things to the way they need to go, you do realize midway through that, like, as you get this going, it's going to take off now with you on it. It's not jumping to warp drive or anything, but it's in launch once you get this going.
Oh no, this one is one of the ones with an autopilot. We can't stop it from down here.
What does that mean?
It means in the next 5 minutes we're going to be breaking the moon's atmosphere.
And Lydia turns to Ralph. So sorry to drag you into this.
Oh, that's all right. I guess I can oh, okay, maybe not. And immediately you can see that Ralph is out of his element, because even though he has the talents Arcanist for fixing magic equipment, handy for fixing non-magic equipment, and mechanic for fixing vehicles. He also has the struggle bad driver.
Yes!
Amazing.
So as this thing starts lifting off, you can see his hands begin to shake as he tries to fix the thing. Ah!
Are we better off using the teleportation device?
I don't know. I know how it works. I know how this works, and I don't know how to fly it.
I look at Kai and I go, what? What do we do? What do we do? What do we do? I look at Deslin. Deslin!
I'm sorry, I dozed off for a little bit. I think I might have hit my head.
The circle is complete.
The hat trick.
Well, we never found Aaron.
Oh my god, what if he's in another one of those worlds? You know what?
Yeah,
I'm gonna
Lydia
do.
stands up,
Mm-hmm.
grabs the chemicals. She's. I can't have us risk this. I
Can-
can get you somewhere else.
Can I do something that I think Aaron would be proud of? I'm gonna run over and turn the dial. If we're gonna fight, we gotta do this his way, crank.
And there is a silence immediately as there's clank, 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 punches into place. It was absolutely silent. Ralph, you know once you hit the hyperdrive into space, it's like a good minute before it actually launches. Very anticlimactic. And there's a wait.
Ralph
Wasn't
begins
fun.
to sweat.
Lydia walks over.
When
This
you
is
say silent, you mean we don't even hear the engines or anything?
No, you can hear like the whirring of the engine, but after the big clank, it's quiet. You can hear the hum. No one. It's very quiet, and then Lydia stands up, says, "Well, that's about done for the potion. This jump is going to be a bit unpleasant, and I apologize for that." She pours the concoction into a little opening in the machine that is now hooked up to the warp drive. Turns to Ralph, says, "I'm sorry for putting your moon in danger like I did. I will do my best to make sure you get back here." She turns, sits back down, opens the book. There's a humming that builds louder and louder. Other noises start joining it. Ralph, you would know this is about the time to lock yourself into a seat and get ready to launch.
Ralph does so, but is shaking and doesn't say anything.
Betsy doesn't know she's supposed to do that, so she's just standing by the dial.
The ship
And
lurches.
Kai does not notice.
The ship lurches suddenly. As you know, there's typically when you jump to warp space, Ralph, a slight pull that you feel. This one does not feel like that. There's the pull, but then it feels like you're spinning rapidly. And everything starts feeling very squeezed and pinched in very suddenly. Things are really spinning up out of control, and Lydia places marble into the machine in the little marble spot that you see, and it looks like a lot like the book that she's holding. She drops it in, and suddenly everything goes black. She sits down, and you hear her close her book. You're gone into the multiverse once more.
Yay!
Yay!
Ah,
That was
I love this
awesome.
story.
We met Simon's mom. She seems nice.
That was a twist. I did
That
not
was
see that
good.
coming.
Yeah.
All right.
Amazing.
Thank you, everybody, for joining us. Thank you again to my guests. Let's go around and introduce ourselves one last time before we call it a night. Hi, I'm Dennis. I run the YouTube channel here at the OKSDM. You can find me on all the socials at okayest__DM, just like it says in the little thingy down there. You can also get this overlay if you feel like streaming your own game of Sagas. It is now free on ttrpgoverlay.com. A good friend of mine in the space created this for us to use, and it is freely available for anyone else to use as well. Thank you all for joining, and I'm very excited for Ralph to be reprised. How about let's move around, and Claude, thank you for running this.
Hello. Thanks for sticking in there. Yeah, things got a little wild at the end. But I am Claude, also Curly Insane Guy _ at Instagram and on Threads, where I talk about TTRPGs occasionally. I'm on stream like this, and I will be for 2 more weeks.
And Tipsy.
Hi, my name is Tipsy, or you can call me Jocelyn. You can find me on TikTok or Twitch as the Tipsy Tiger. You can also find me at Magic Academy on Twitch on Tuesdays. I also do my own homebrew world and do all kinds of fun stuff there. And you might see me in a certain other seat next week, so stay tuned.
Thanks. And Vampire.
And I am Vampire Bites, and you can find me in Discord and Twitch under the same name. I will be here next week and the week after, or well, probably over on this crits next week, assuming that he'll be back. Looking forward to it. Other than that, you can also find me over on Cybernation Uncensored on alternating Mondays in a Fallout 2D20 game that has been reskinned as a The Last of Us game, and on every Friday playing a Cyberpunk Red High Riders campaign.
Awesome. If you or any of our viewers tonight have not yet gotten enough of Sagas, the next time I will appear on the internet is tomorrow night over on the Lost Caravan RPG Twitch channel, where we will be having, I think this is the first time we're going to do a live session 0 for a campaign. So we get to see how character creation and deciding on a world and everything like that works. Very excited for it. Hope you are able to tune in. Thank you for tuning in tonight. Remember, everything is going to be okay. Have a good night, everybody.